Well, for more on the Equifax hack attack and how to protect against future data breaches, we're joined now by Shawn Tuma. He's an attorney and a cybersecurity and data privacy partner for the law firm Scheef Stone. Shawn, welcome to the broadcast. There's so much irony in this story. You know, Equifax, who's supposed to report any wrongdoing, in fact, could be responsible for wrongdoing committed against people who have credit. So we just heard in Owen's story there talking about $90 million and that Equifax possibly even may have known that this was coming, that there was a virus alert. What could they have done to prevent this?
Sure. What Equifax could have done, in theory, is installed all of their patches in a very timely manner and protected these known vulnerabilities so that they could not have been exploited by hackers, which led to the data breach.
If it's just that simple, why wouldn't they have done it?
Well, it's that simple for you and I on our home computers, but when you're talking about a company with hundreds of thousands of devices to patch, it becomes a lot more complicated than that, and it takes a very strong system in place to make sure that gets done. But when you're a company like Equifax with that kind of sensitive data, that's what you have to do.
Is this the end of the line for Equifax at this point? I mean, how could they be trusted again if they did in fact know that there was some sort of precaution they could have taken?
You know, we tend to have a short attention span and a short memory when it comes to companies that have been hacked like this. And as mad as people are today, you know, we have to remember we didn't choose to provide our data to Equifax. It was provided by businesses without our consent many times and without our choice. So it's really a question of whether the businesses will effectively revolt against them now. And I don't know that they will unless there's something that forces them to do that through maybe congressional action.
Why was it the U.S. Consumers targeted mainly?
Well, I think a part of that has to do with how Equifax collects data. I don't know that Equifax collects the same kind of data on people worldwide that it does on U.S. consumers because it's primarily focused at U.S. consumers in a lot of ways. So I think it just had a lot more U.S. consumers' data. But I'm guessing it may have been specifically targeted only for U.S. consumers. Perhaps the identity thieves or the hackers found more value in the U.S. Citizens' data than others. But
so Equifax, one of many companies that have been hacked, obviously. It's happened to hospitals, department stores, restaurants. We could go on and on. You mentioned congressional intervention. What can be done, Shawn?
Well, you know, with the Target hack, we saw awareness being raised. Our hope is now with the Equifax hack, we will see action coming from this. And what Congress really needs to do is it needs to strengthen the punitive measures against companies that don't get it right. It needs to incentivize good practices, and it needs to adopt a framework that will give a universal language for companies to use whenever they're comparing their cybersecurity practices against others. And we have that through the NIST cybersecurity framework, but it's not mandatory for companies. It's only mandatory for U.S. government agencies. But that's something that we could see happen.
What's the percentage of these breaches, or do you know, that are actually criminal malice? And should there be the same laws for those as the ones that happen because just random viruses?
You know, that's a great question because looking at criminal versus non-criminal, most of them are criminal. Whether it's criminals that are doing a targeted attack, specifically going after a company, or it's criminals creating these viruses that go out. But another big problem we have are insiders, which are employees or people that are privy to the inner networking of the company that many times cause these breaches, either through intentional or misconduct, or through negligence, which is also fairly common. So most of them are criminal, but some of them are negligence by insiders within organizations.
Okay, well, Shawn Tuma, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.